If DOGE attacks USAID today, then you can be sure they'll move on to another target tomorrow.
Good.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service or the IRS.
You promise? I already support it.
It truly is a glorious day because after years of the IRS auditing us, finally, we the people are going to be auditing the IRS. And I want to make it very clear to our Democrat friends that despite all of the virtue signaling about democracy and how DOGE is an assault against our democracy, actually, no, this is what democracy looks like. And let me tell you right now, what democracy is not. Okay, democracy is not when a bunch of unelected bureaucrats operate a shadow government in secret and the American people are simply given the illusion of choice in elections that don't really change anything. No. There's actually nothing democratic about that whatsoever. But you know what is democratic? Something like this right here. As you can see from Elon Musk on February 4th, 2025, would you like DOGE to audit the IRS? As you can see the results, 51% said yes, 40% said F yes, and only 8.2% said no. That's right, only 8% of people, according to the poll, want the IRS to be protected and uninvestigated and unaudited. And I'm going to take a wild guess. You might say, oh, that's a Twitter poll. It doesn't mean anything. No, if you did a national referendum, the results here would largely be the same because as it turns out, bureaucratic agencies, especially the IRS, are not all that popular with the American people. And no, Democrats, it's not all that democratic for, the will of the people to be usurped by the special interest of corrupt bureaucrats. So with that said, now the announcement as of today is yes, the IRS is being audited. As of Thursday, DOGE and Elon Musk have officially entered the IRS building in DC. It is amazing. You certainly love to see it. But let me ask everyone a big question. What do you think the Democrat response was? Do you think the Democrats decided to maybe sit this one out because, again, nobody likes the IRS? Or do you think the Democrats died on the hill of defending the IRS? Comment down below what your prediction is. And while you're at it, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. New subscribing is the best way to ensure that we can keep doing these videos. And with that said, okay, I think everyone knows the answer here. But first, here was the announcement from President Trump talking about how indeed, as they promised, as they said they were going to do, as the people voted for, now DOGE and Elon Musk are going to be looking into the IRS. Take a listen.
Mr. President, DOGE workers arrived today, Gavin Kilger and others arrived today at the IRS. Do you expect to close the IRS, or what are you expecting?
No, I don't expect it, but I think that the Internal Revenue Service will be looked at like everybody else. Just about everybody's going to be looked at. So it's they're doing a hell of a job. It's an amazing job they're doing. And that force is building. I call it the force of super geniuses, but it's building. And they go up and they talk to some of the people about certain deals, and the people get all tongue-tied. They can't talk because these people get it. They're very smart people. We need smart people.
Yep, so that is right. DOGE is coming for the IRS. They are leaving no stone unturned. In fact, I would maybe argue we kind of did this backwards, if I'm being honest. I feel like we should have started by doing the IRS first because it would show to the American people. It kind of proved that point that, hey, everyone's going to fearmonger about this. But, if you first set the narrative, honestly, by auditing the IRS, that might have been much smarter. But ultimately, it is what it is. Okay, glad to see now that DOGE is visiting the IRS. And as you can see, the reporting here from CNN right here, DOGE visits the IRS, putting staffers on edge. Oh no, guys, those poor IRS employees, they're in a panic. They're not feeling so good that finally the American people are going to be able to see what they're doing while they basically harass Americans for a living. Oh no, do we feel so bad for the IRS agents, everyone? Comment down below if you're feeling sympathetic. I'm just saying, I don't think anyone is. But this is the pathetic response that you're seeing from the media, that you're seeing from the Democrats. That is how out of touch they are, is that they think the average American in this country is going to sit around and feel sympathy for the employees of the IRS. Are you freaking kidding me? No, the people are literally happy that they're on edge. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, here's the article from Pamela Brown confirming that this is what happened as of today. At least one member of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency team visited the Internal Internal Revenue Service offices in Washington on Thursday as part of its mission to evaluate and potentially downsize government agencies. Two people familiar with the matter told CNN. The DOGE member, Gavin Kilger, made a series of requests, including a description of what each business unit in the IRS does, what it's looking to deliver on in the next 90 days, and what risks each unit currently faces, according to one of the sources. Now, just for context here, keep this in mind, guys. This is what DOGE has been doing at every single agency. You know, all this fear mongering, all the panic you hear about, oh my gosh, what they're doing is so mean, so cruel. Well, they basically are going in as sort of the new CEOs, you could argue, of like the American government. It's sort of, an analogous situation, I should say. They're just going in and asking every single employee, please justify your job, right? What do you do and why is it important? Which in the private sector, if you work for a corporation, that's probably a question you would have to answer every year, or if not, at least every time you get a new CEO, okay? It's nothing crazy. And yes, anyone who works a job that is supposedly so important to America should be able to explain, here's why my job is so important to America. And if you can't do that, which turns out a lot of government employees in the federal government were unable to do, then yeah, surely it should be pretty justifiable to say, send those people on their way out. You're fired. You have no place here. But anyways, going on, it was not immediately clear whether Kilger accessed any IRS systems, but the source said it seemed he's just getting a lay of the land at the moment. So they are scoping out the IRS, about to engage, it would seem, in a full-blown audit. Of course, again, we're supposed to feel so bad for these people. Oh no, the horror of us auditing the IRS when auditing the American people is exactly what the IRS does for a living. Again, Democrats, I'm not exactly sure this is the best messaging for you, but apparently, while there's no indication that sensitive IRS information had been accessed, the visit had staffers on edge. Oh no, IRS employees might be fired. Poor them. We all feel so bad. As it turns out, when you harass ordinary people for a living, when you go after the little guy, when you make life harder for like the regular working man, I don't know if I can exactly feel all that bad that, oh no, you might be out of a job soon. Okay. Like, it's sometimes in life, that's how it goes. I don't know. What goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? I seriously cannot comprehend, again, how they think it is winning politics to try to stir up sympathy for IRS employees. Nobody feels bad for these people. These people are thugs and crooks and not very nice people. Okay? Just saying. But anyways, CNN has reached out to DOGE and the IRS for comments. And this is exactly what is going on. Now, again, I just want to make it clear to everyone that the Democrat response to this is probably predictable because, as you may have seen thus far, they are protesting everything that DOGE is doing, which is very interesting, very telling about who they represent. But of course, you should have a predictive algorithm at this point to determine, okay, on Thursday, February 13th, are the Democrats going to defend the IRS? The answer is, of course, yes, because they've been defending every government agency and everything they do that DOGE has been looking into, as we all know. And some of these protests are getting more ridiculous, by the way.
I guess these guys don't watch the news. They didn't realize that PEPFAR was one of the many programs that did prove to be life-saving, so the funding was restored. Somebody better give them a link to, I don't know, maybe Fox News or something like that. You may resume your opening statement.
So they literally interrupted a hearing to stage a protest for an agency, or an NGO, I should say more specifically there, that literally did not have its funding cut. Okay, so that's the genius of these characters. So again, that leads us all to the central question of today's video. Do the Democrats, respond to this by trying to defend the IRS? The answer is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, yes. Yes, they are. As you saw from Chuck Schumer there in the opening clip, as well as Oregon Senator Ron Wyden in this tweet today, he's saying, my office is hearing that DOGE is now at the IRS. That means Musk's henchmen are in a position to dig through a trove of data about every taxpayer in America. And if your refund is delayed, that they very well could be the reason. So, of course, again, I'm bringing this up. What planet do Democrats think it is a good look to be opposing an audit of the IRS? Again, what DOGE is currently doing right now perhaps is one of the most popular things in all of America. Everyone wants to see this, including a lot of like zombie brain Democrat voters deep down. Nobody really likes taxes. Nobody likes the IRS. And they're going out and making this mass panic because ultimately, again, they think defending the IRS is good politics. And this is the situation they're in, right? Which is when it comes to these government agencies, how many people does the IRS employ? I don't know. Let's just say like maybe a couple 100,000, something like that. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake, I don't know the exact number. Someone can Google it. That 400,000 Americans work for the IRS as a hypothetical number. Okay, so the Democrats think it's good politics to defend those 400,000 and make them happy when those 400,000 people probably already vote Democrat anyway, when the other 323 million Americans in this country all hate the IRS. So again, they're picking political positions here that are so unpopular that that's what they're ending up doing. You know, it'd be one thing to defend USAID because I think the defense there still is ridiculous. I think most Americans don't even care about it to begin with. But nonetheless, right, at least USAID, a lot of people are not familiar with. And so you can try to influence people's opinions there. Everyone knows what the IRS is. Nobody likes it. And again, you know, trying to drum up some type of panic about this. No, if you're going to bring attention to this, I think it's only going to show that the American people actually will support what DOGE is doing. And of course, all of this moral panic, you've also heard about the privacy concerns, like Elon Musk cannot be trusted with your personal data. Well, it's a little bit of a silly argument considering Elon Musk literally has top secret security clearance within our federal government, and that is something that Joe Biden also extended to him back when the Democrats were literally in charge of the government. So it's kind of a strange point to be making.
Elon Musk does have a security clearance. He has a top secret security clearance. By God, he makes the rockets for NASA. But the suggestion that he somehow can't be trusted to dig into how we're spending our money is nothing but a smokescreen to hide the corruption and the wasteful spending that has occurred there. And I am personally offended at the left's continued references to 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds in there doing work. There are 19-year-olds who have won the Medal of Honor defending this country. Just because you're 19 doesn't mean you're some child who can't be trusted. It is offensive. And if you're 19 years old out there, 20 years old, and you're serving this country, by God, your service matters. Keep serving. We thank you for that.
Yeah, that's exactly on point. You guys give them all the sensitive information to build the rockets, but suddenly, oh no, regular IRS employees can be trusted with our personal data, but Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, somehow has an incentive to steal our money or something? It's insane. It doesn't even make any sense, especially when you consider the context. Elon Musk is asking, for instance, the U.S. Treasury to categorize its payments, as he's talked about before, right? He wants everything to have a payment code. In other words, so that way everyone can see when the U.S. spends money, where that money is going. And of course, somehow that's a big security concern. No, the guy's absolutely right. It's a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen because all this moral panic is meant to do is distract from the fact that massive corruption is happening in our government. And Democrats somehow think it is winning politics to literally go out and defend that corruption. Again, if you went out and polled the American people, do you approve of the IRS? Everyone's going to say no. Do you think our government is not corrupt? Not corrupt. Every American's going to say, no, I do think the American government is corrupt, right? So you have this party that now has just given up so much on trying to win, or they're just so incompetent. They're not incompetent, though. They're just completely corrupt, but they're also incompetent. But mainly corrupt is the reason they're doing this. They're picking such unwinnable positions. Why? Because they're not in service of the people, right? They are defending right now. They're showing exactly, the Democrats are showing exactly who they serve. It's not the ordinary worker in this country. It's not the ordinary person. It is the bureaucrats. It is the lobbyists. It is the deep state. And interestingly enough, we actually have one sane Democrat in the entire country, if you can actually believe it, because Dean Phillips, anyone remember Dean Phillips? Now, Dean Phillips was like a moderate Democrat who very courageously, I would argue, decided to run against Joe Biden in the 2024 primary back when he was completely unchallenged. And of course, he got ostracized for it. He got canceled from the party for it. He ultimately ended up being right that Joe Biden was not fit to run for president again. But, nobody gave him credit. But he is now going out and pointing out to Democrats, to his fellow party members, actually, as a matter of fact, what you guys are doing right now with defending the IRS and just making everything on earth about Elon Musk and all this panic about him is not actually winning politics. Take a listen.
Unfortunately, Democrats are only focused on one thing right now, Mr. Musk. The fact of the matter, he's quite popular. He has the largest platform in human history, which is, of course, Twitter/X. And I think we're missing the boat as Democrats. And all I'm saying is that sometimes it's better to join them and actually play a role in how the strategy works, rather than so pathetically, frankly, try to combat something that clearly is a steamroller, and Democrats are being steamrolled.
I mean, gee, you don't say. I really wonder why the Democrat Party hates this guy from within. I wonder why, okay? Because he's going out and speaking the truth. I mean, you mean to tell me that this right here is not purely pathetic behavior? No, it is pathetic.
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against DOGE. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh no, how dare you, Dean Phillips, you traitor to the party. How dare you call that pathetic, okay? That is so strong and so inspiring and so compelling to the American people. It's like, okay. Now, look, everyone's looking for, in the real world, okay, outside of this ridiculous bubble of very corrupt DC politicians who are trying to literally save themselves, right? They're trying to protect themselves. Keep that in mind. When they say they're trying to protect the data of Americans, they don't really mean that, okay? They're trying to protect their own personal corruption. That's exactly what is going on here. But again, it is unclear exactly what we're going to find at the IRS. But I think when you just take a look at the track record so far of the type of waste that has already been found within our other government agencies, needless to say, I think you're going to find some pretty damning things. And, it may compel Americans to think to themselves, why do I even pay taxes? And that really so far is, I think, how everyone feels, and maybe why the Democrat politicians feel so threatened by what DOGE is uncovering.
Do you think that America should in some way be reimbursed? If knowing Trump, he's going to try to figure out a way for the American taxpayer to recoup some of the money blown in Ukraine, whether it's some energy situation or deal with Russia or Ukraine, or maybe together. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up happening.
You know what else needs to happen is we need an accounting of every single tax dollar that's been spent over there. Because remember, right now we have zero, because Congress never would vote for an audit of the money. And the White House, the Biden White House, never would do one. We need to know exactly how this money has been spent all these years. And if you think USAID is a corrupt thing, just wait till we see how our money has been spent. We need to know it. And I'm glad the president is going to bring this to a close.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be completely honest, okay? The only reason you would be scared as a government agency of an audit, okay, the only reason you'd be fearful about that is if you have something to hide, okay? And that's exactly why the Democrats are so panicked about these audits. Shouldn't the Democrats, wouldn't you think, right, if our government bureaucracy really ran as great as they claim it does, you would think these Democrats would say, okay, I dare you guys to go audit. Go audit the government. Go audit our bureaucracy. See what you find. Because in reality, all you right-wingers are such crazy conspiracy theorists. You think the government is so massive and bloated, and in reality, it's working amazing. And you guys are all wrong about this, right? And that's the thing. If Democrats were actually objectively right about this issue, they would do that. right? I would do that if I were a Democrat politician and I knew that the government actually works really efficiently. I would say, okay, go audit it, go do it. And then everyone's going to show that we're right because we're actually doing a good job of running the government. But they obviously know that's not the case. That's why they're trying to stop the audits from happening. That's why they're literally trying to take this to court to stop DOGE from being able to like actually investigate things within our own government. That is exactly why. And, here's looking forward to the IRS and everything else in our government being audited, and hopefully after that we can have a very serious conversation about taxes, why we pay them, should we keep paying them at the rate we are, because if this is how the government spends our money, for instance, this got proven this week, by the way. You look at something like the war in Gaza, literally we're funding both Israel and Hamas at the same time. Like, that's not even made up. This is actually a real thing. When you look at something like this, okay, again, I don't know how a country funds both sides in a war. Like, that's probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You fund one side or the other. You don't fund both sides. But, you look at something like this, you look at USAID, you look at everything that's going on. How exactly can we continue to justify taxes at the way we are? Again, maybe that's why the Democrats are so fearful, because the Democrats are the people who always want to raise your taxes, and they claim it's so necessary because without your tax dollars, we can't have basic essential services. And then this is what's happening. No, all their lies are being exposed on a very systemic level. That's why this is so amazing. And with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.